Hello everyone, this is Brendan showing you a Let's Play of the popular award-winning Flash game, Dad and Me. This free PC fighting game earned the title of Best Web Game at the Independent Games Festival, or IGF Awards. In it, you are allowed to take out some serious aggression as a bully on a neighborhood rampage. In Dad and Me, you are the son of a fierce chainsaw-wielding purple monster, and are supposed to follow in his violent footsteps to earn his respect. As you will see, he drops you off at Almond's Hands Park, where you make your way through the neighborhood in order to reach the other part of town. Before we begin playing the game, I'd like to take a moment and discuss bullying a little bit as a pretense to what I feel are the arguments presented throughout the game. Bullying is a form of abuse. Wikipedia defines it as repeated acts over time attempting to create or enforce one group or person's power over another group or person, thus an imbalance of power. This imbalance of power may be social and/or physical power. The victim of the bullying is sometimes referred to as a target. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services defines bullying as something that happens when someone hurts or scares another person on purpose, and the person being bullied has a hard time defending himself or herself. Usually, bullying happens over and over. In Dad and Me, the game seems to make an argument about the easiness of bullying. It creates the illusion that it's easy for one to go out and beat up the different types of neighborhood kids and other people in the neighborhood. Surely it also makes the argument that it's something that's fun to do, hence creation of this game. Bullies are sometimes unable to comprehend their cruel and impulsive behavior, for they cannot conceive of how physical bullying creates a self-gratifying sense of power, sort of a Lord of the Flies mentality. Well, let's get started. In Dad and Me, the main objective is to cause as much mayhem as possible. So to progress in the game, simply you have to beat up every kid in sight. Occasionally you'll encounter another bully or two. All you have to do is just fight them off and take out the surrounding kids to move on. Now for the instructions, pretty easy game. A and S is jab and your strong punch, and then you move around with your arrow keys. That's basically it. You can see the guy moving around up top. Okay, well, as you can see, the game gets off to a nice start by Dad dropping you off and subsequently running a kid over. Let's see. You can start off the game by doing what bullies do best, knocking over a sandcastle and making the little kid cry. But then it gets to the rough stuff. Immediately start just beating up on kids. Pretty violent game, I'd say, considering there's blood flying, and later on when you do combo moves, which I have no idea how I did, you actually get a knife out. Oh look, there's propane. I wonder what I can do with that. Another bully. As you can see, it takes bullying to an extreme level that you wouldn't even imagine, as far as blowing stuff up, blood flying, beating up other bullies, getting out knives. I mean, I guess unless you're in the ghetto. Now it's considerably harder to beat up the other bullies, but as you can see, I finished them off there and promptly go take care of the rest of the kids. In the game, you can use objects to beat up the other kids, just like in real life. Although I would hope there's not as much blood when real bullies do it. Let's use some more propane. I have to admit, that's pretty fun. The game continues on. You have to eliminate every kid before you can advance on, and of course when you do, it tells you up top by big red go where you can advance to the next stage. If you notice up at the top right, there's a little health bar for every person you come across. As soon as you start hitting them, they appear. There you go, Chuck is about to get beat up. Now we start to see other characters coming out in the game, which I'll touch more on later. Special Jimmy with his red helmet comes out, which he actually can hurt you a little bit by ramming into you, which you'll see in a second here. Ronald. That hurt, Ronald. Now I'm interrupting soccer practice, and we start to see another aspect of the game that I want to touch on is the different types of characters in the game as modeled by the author or the game developer. You see different shades of colors, which are no doubt representing different ethnicities, different clothing, different hairstyles. If you notice, the soccer ball, when it gets hit in each goal, the score actually goes up. A nice touch by the game developer. Come on, good goal. Not today. There we go. Oh look, a Boy Scout troop. Everyone's represented. Here's another interesting fact of the game, which is extremely gruesome. You get to push kids into the street where they can probably get run over by passing traffic. That had to hurt. Be prepared, right? And there he goes. Popo didn't see him coming, I guess. Sometimes it's hard to pick up stuff, you end up punching instead. Now we see another adversary. He's not a bully, but it's a kid with a gun, so he is able to hurt you. We're starting to see other different types of characters, hence the Japanese boy with the flag of Japan on his t-shirt and the hat. It's very interesting to see how the game developer represents what he thinks are different ethnicities in the different characters of the game. You'll know the bully beats on all of them the same way. So one can say he doesn't see a difference in their color or race. He beats them all up in the same. So I would say that's a big difference in the game between real life bullies and this bully, is that real life bullies would probably pick on certain races or ethnicities more than others, but in this game everyone's gonna have a fair share of punches. I found it interesting as the game goes on that even though your adversaries, meaning the kids, get harder and harder, you don't really see a whole lot more bullies or parents involved, which I would hope in real life is something a bully would come across to prevent it from stop bullying. Maybe the game developer thought, this was an issue just like in real life, is there aren't enough people standing up against bullies. How these kids pretty much don't have any defenses against this guy. You see a drug mart up top, says open 24/7 with the shot on sight sign in the window, and the way the kids are dressed now that we're entering a different kind of neighborhood. This is a key aspect change in where you're entering now. It'll be a noticeable difference in the way the buildings are portrayed now. Game developer, I believe, wants it to be portrayed that you're entering a more ghetto part of the neighborhood now, as you can see by the buildings, and especially where the kids are dressed. We've got what you could call the emo gang coming out now, I suppose. But again, he doesn't care, doesn't make a difference. He has equal punches for everyone. Another way it makes it harder is the kids seem to go faster, so you really gotta move around quickly to try and catch them, which, you know, beyond punching them, just catching them makes it harder. Ooh, propane. Oh. Another failed attempt to pick something up, resulting in blowing it up, which only hurts me. As you see in the top left part, my health bar is almost done. This is the part of the game which I can never get past, because once the ninjas on ATVs come out, I'm done. It's just my Achilles heel. Now, I want to relate how the game makes bullying seem fun and easy and exciting to do, but I really want to point out that the major difference between this and real life, besides obviously the cartoonish aspect of the whole game, is the fact that the bully picks on everyone regardless of race, color, background, ethnicity, etc. So I think that's a big difference there. Whereas we all know in real life, bullies pick on someone that they like to make fun of, be it, you know, your